What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today, we've got another live fantasy football mock draft for you back on ESPN with a 10-team full PPR mock where we will be drafting 7th overall. So it should be pretty interesting. And while we wait for this thing to kick off, a quick reminder, if you guys enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at alldaypigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear it in the comment section, your thoughts along with any other questions you guys might have. We will do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, let's get into it. The draft is officially underway, and we will see what happens here first overall. Typically, the trend on ESPN has been wide receiver heavy, or I should say pass catcher heavy, to kick off the draft. So with that being the case, I would not be shocked to see a Justin Jefferson, a Jamar Chase, something like that here at the top of the board. Okay. Not the name that I mentioned, but Cooper Kupp at the 101. So it is wide receiver. I actually really like Cooper Kupp. So, I like to see him get some love, even above Justin Jefferson. I've said this before in my wide receiver rankings that if you want to have Cooper Kupp right there with Justin Jefferson, I have absolutely zero issues with that. And, I think the main thing is potentially health of the wide receiver, age of the wide receiver, and injury history of the quarterback. So Justin Jefferson has the nod in those areas, why he would be ranked a little bit higher. But other than that, I love Cooper Kupp in full PPR. I think he should be ranked ahead of Jamar Chase, who actually went 3rd overall, followed by then the top 2 rushers in Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler. Again, this is not how I would do things, but hey, it's a situation where people are kind of pivoting to wide receivers early on, and that's leading to free falls at the running back position. Speaking of, we're on the clock here, and let's get a little bit frisky, if you will. Let's go with Travis Kelce here. And I know I've done a couple of these situations where we go Travis Kelce in the first round, and it's always an interesting result afterwards. I kind of want to dig more into that and see what we can end up with here in the second, third round, and how we can build around potentially Travis Kelce, because it's tough. It's tough to kind of circumnavigate those situations sometimes. If I didn't go Travis Kelce, I was going 1000% Bijan Robinson, and then probably in the second round, if I could pair him up with like a Nick Chubb, I would be very, very happy with that. But hopefully I can at least get Nick Chubb as my starting running back, because essentially what we've done in getting Travis Kelce, we've gotten a wide receiver one in a positional advantage in a 10-team league. A little bit more important getting those positional advantages in those smaller leagues, because, every team here is going to have pretty good rosters and decent depth as well. So keep that in mind. But, if this was the real deal, I probably would have gone Bijan over Travis Kelce, kind of just playing around with the idea. Now, the last couple of picks after Bijan, they were Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Devontae Adams, Derrick Henry, and Stephon Diggs. So here we are on the clock, and, I think if we pass up on Nick Chubb right now, I love CeeDee Lamb, I love Amon-Ra, but Nick Chubb ain't getting back to us. I want a running back, and I think by far and away he's the top rusher right now. So yeah, we're passing up on CeeDee Lamb. We're passing up on those top pass catchers. But, that's what I was saying. We already got one in Travis Kelce, essentially a wide receiver one. So let's see what happens in the third round. Let's see what happens with these next couple of selections. Interesting to see Jonathan Taylor still go in the first round, especially after his kind of fiasco of a, holdout, faux holdout, I don't know, trade request. We'll see what happens there. But definitely his ADP will take a dip now until that gets resolved. Then Devontae Adams kicks off the second round, followed by Derrick Henry, Stephon Diggs. I went Nick Chubb, CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and Josh Jacobs. So the last couple of picks were pretty much all the highest ranked players. And let's kind of show this here, even though I don't necessarily love the draft board here on ESPN. I think, there's a lot of better platforms that showcase it in a better fashion. But, oh well, after Josh Jacobs, A.J. Brown, So I think now we're going to get to that next group of running backs like the Tony Pollards. And as soon as I say that, Tony Pollard is the next selection, right? Brees Hall, et cetera, that are being drafted. And I mean, Tony Pollard at the end of the second round, I think that is a very, very good value for Tony Pollard. Again, just one of those situations we're going to have to monitor. Do the Dallas Cowboys add another veteran rusher? If they do, the value for Pollard is going to go down a little bit. But if not, he could be in store for a really, really good season. So that's intriguing. That's the case with a couple places, though, to be fair. There's a couple of veteran rushers still out there. Do the Minnesota Vikings add anybody and potentially not hurt, I would say almost crush Alexander Madison's fantasy value? Do the Jets bring in somebody and get insurance with Brees Hall and his injury? All those things are possibilities. So, yeah, a lot of interesting things to look out for. Now, I went back to our player pool here because we're going to be picking shortly. After that Tony Pollard pick, we saw Patrick Mahomes with the first pick in the third round. I'm not shocked. In 10-team leagues, that's typically where the quarterback run begins. I don't endorse it. I've said that multiple times, but it's going to happen. Somebody else's problem, though, because I just think that it's a little bit too early. There's still really, really good value on the board, and I will 10 times out of 10 rather go with Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence 4 rounds later than do this. So Jalen Hurts just went. Would have loved Jalen Waddle to fall to us. He went second pick in the third round to then Devonta Smith, Ramondre Stevenson. Speaking of Ramondre Stevenson, he's a guy that could potentially have a veteran presence added via rusher. Chris Olave just got selected. Damn, we got we got sniped on that one because I've said this before. He is my favorite. He's my favorite third round selection. So instead, we're going to pivot here. We're going to go Travis Etienne, another high upside rusher in my opinion. And hopefully we can get a Keenan Allen in the next round, another, high-end PPR scoring wide receiver. I'd be very happy with that. But yeah, that Chris Olave snipe definitely kind of put a hamper in things. I would have been decently happy with Nick Chubb, Chris Olave, and then Travis Kelce, and kind of build out the rest. Josh Allen now just went. Okay, I'm hoping we see in these next 3 selections anybody but Keenan Allen. He is probably the highest ranked guy on my list at this point in time as far as the wide receiver position is concerned. DK Metcalf, I think there's just a little bit too much competition there. I'd rather go with the guy on the Chargers offense with the better quarterback. It's as simple as that. But at least on the flip side, after going tight end early, we have addressed, in my opinion, what is the most important position, that is, running back. And we do get sniped on Keenan Allen, folks. Yeah, that's the way it goes. So here, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at a wide receiver. I guess we can go Calvin Ridley, right? I do like Ridley. I think it's a little bit of a reach, but there's a very high chance he doesn't make it back to us. We already do have Travis Etienne, though. It's a little bit tough here. We're double dipping into the Jaguars offense. If I didn't go Calvin Ridley, I probably would have gone Miles Sanders, but I think we needed to address the wide receiver position a little bit more so than running back. I already have Chubb, I already have Etienne. Other wide receivers that I could have gone with, Amari Cooper, but I would have had the same situation with Nick Chubb and Amari Cooper, both on the Browns offense. I believe a little bit more so in Calvin Ridley. And then, we have the likes of DJ Moore, Marquise Brown, but I do think we can get them a little bit later on. So unfortunately, we got sniped on Keenan Allen. We got sniped on Chris Olave. We had to pivot a little bit, but I like this. I really do, because it puts us in a tough spot. Maybe this won't be the best, mock draft in terms of final result, but I also appreciate the fact that it kind of paints a realistic possibility of what could potentially go quote unquote wrong. And, I don't think it's extremely bad right now. I think we're managing okay. I think we're going to come out of this thing okay. But, I should say the difficulties you can face, especially if you have some savvy league mates that are drafting and can punish you for going tight end early because that is a real thing. And, you know, that's just one of the situations we're in right now. So let's see what happens here. We got 5 more picks until our selection. Wide receiver here, there's been a run on the rushers, actually. I mean, look, after we went Calvin Ridley, there's Lamar, sure, but then Joe Mixon, Jahmyr Gibbs, Rashad White, Najee Harris, Aaron Jones. Whoa, okay. And this thing has fully been thrown into, I would say, I don't even know what territory because we had Baker Mayfield being the selection with the second pick in the 5th round. I almost want to just throw this entire mock draft away, but what happened here? Why did that just happen? I'm so confused. TJ Hawkinson just got drafted. So I'm looking at running backs here, and Miles Sanders is still on the board. I think he's a very good value. I'm a believer in him, and I'm just going to add him as our flex play. We're getting great depth at running back, and I'm not going to apologize for that, but I want to dig more into that Baker Mayfield selection because that was something to behold. I haven't noticed any other weird picks by that individual, but let's see if that's the case. I mean, Najee Harris, Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Jalen Waddle. Why the hell they went Baker Mayfield after, 4 sensible rounds? I have zero idea. But okay, let's see. Now I'm kind of really interested to see what happens in this next round with that individual. But I like what we're doing, especially at running back right now. Let's see what we can do at wide receiver. Maybe we can add a Marquise Brown. I'd be very happy with that. Justin Fields just went. Christian Watson just went. So I need another wide receiver badly. I think Marquise Brown, DJ Moore are the top 2 options. And, I personally have Marquise Brown ranked a little bit higher. I think he's going to see more volume. I think Kyler Murray comes back sooner rather than later. So moral of the story, we're going Marquise Brown. Now here, what I would like to see is hopefully we get one of the top quarterbacks that are still available fall to us in the 7th round. I'm not sure if that'll happen. DJ Moore at this point is a very good value. I do want to point that out. Other names here, let's kind of look at them. James Conner just went, another really good value, but I was loaded up on a running back, so I didn't necessarily have to go that way. I think Alvin Kamara at this point is a very good value. And again, this is why you look at this. It's the end of the 6th round. Names that are still available at tight end: George Kittle, Kyle Pitts, Dallas Goedert. This is why I don't like going tight end early because you're going to be able to get, I think, a discount on the tight end position. Sure, it's not going to be Kelsey, but I think George Kittle is still going to be a top 3 type of tight end. Justin Herbert just went. So let's see what happens here. I'm anticipating probably a little bit of a quarterback run. And here's the individual that took Baker Mayfield. So what the hell happens here? I have no freaking clue. It's going to be really interesting. But let's look at the top quarterbacks that are still left. Deshaun, Trevor Lawrence. Those are the top 2 guys that I would be looking at. So, fingers crossed. Okay, so then goes back to selecting George Kittle. So that makes a lot of sense. So again, I don't know what that Baker Mayfield selection was. I don't know if we've got a major Baker Mayfield fan or what, but I can't say I've seen that before. For the love of God, don't select Baker Mayfield. I guess that is the takeaway message from this video. But either way, looking at what we are building here personally, our starting roster is pretty much complete, right? Nick Chubb, Etienne, Ridley, Marquise Brown, Kelsey, Sanders. We could add some more wide receiver depth. I would be very, very happy with that. I would love DJ Moore to fall to us, but with some of these auto picks, that ain't going to happen. There's 5 more picks until we make a selection. Brendan Ayuk is not a bad consolation prize. I will say that. Terry McLaurin as well. So there are still some options looking at the wide receiver that can really provide us some solid depth. Michael Pittman is there, kind of just throwing out the top names in my opinion. Mike Williams is not a bad choice. He just got drafted. DeAndre Hopkins just went. I anticipate DJ Moore will be drafted here shortly. Jordan Addison ahead of DJ Moore and Terry McLaurin. Whoa, I did not see that coming. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Okay. I look, don't get me wrong. I really like Jordan Addison, but he's typically a guy that's being drafted later on. Now, here, I did say I want to go quarterback, but if DJ Moore is still there for me at the end of the 7th round, I'm going DJ Moore. So let's see what happens here. Yeah, I mean, James Cook just got drafted. I'm going DJ Moore. I need depth at that position. Yes, I might lose out on Trevor Lawrence, but I think this is the smarter way to do this. And yeah, I'm not even hesitating, really. I'm not. Kyle Pitts, Tyler Lockett, Drake London, Brendan Ayuk, okay, Dallas Goedert. And guess what? I still get my quarterback. I personally have Trevor Lawrence ranked ahead of Deshaun Watson. We're going to be living and dying by the Jacksonville offense. So strap up, but that's what we're doing here. Okay, we have got an uber Jacksonville stack. Lawrence, Ridley, Travis Etienne. Boy, oh boy. Look, I don't endorse this. This is more probably of a best ball type of approach, but I'm going with the guys that are highest on my board, and that's what the case was here. Alvin Kamara tempting, I'm not going to lie, but we needed to address quarterback. I still wanted to get one of those top-notch quarterbacks, and I do believe we achieved just that with that Trevor Lawrence selection. We got DJ Moore, we got Trevor Lawrence. I'm not going to lie to you guys, we got lucky in the last couple of rounds. I think we rebounded well with the wide receiver position, considering we went Travis Kelce to begin with. You know, at the end of the day, I wouldn't be mad if the squad was the real deal for me. The one thing I would change, probably swap Calvin Ridley with Keenan Allen. I don't want to have that many guys on the same offense, because if Jacksonville flames out one week, we're losing. It's as simple as that. That's why I cut off typically, the stacks from the same team at 2. And so kind of let that be a lesson. But I did want to kind of discuss it, and taking Trevor Lawrence provided me the opportunity to do so. But yeah, other than that, other than the one Baker Mayfield selection, this has been a pretty realistic type of draft. And, I think we did a decent job to, if you will, bounce back from taking Travis Kelce first overall. So I like the situation for us. Let's see, the highest ranked guys that are still available: Michael Pittman, J.K. Dobbins. Let's see if we're leaving anything out at running back. I like Samaje Perine. I think J.K. Dobbins at this point in time is a good value, right? Even though it's full PPR, I think there's always a point where you can just, even if it's quote unquote do not draft, take a chance on a player. So right now we're gonna make one last selection, and then we are going to wrap this thing up. Michael Thomas is still there. He's intriguing, right? We need to add some more depth. So he's on my list. Let's see what other wide receivers are there. Jahan Dotson. I don't really love any of these guys right now. So I might just go running back. I really might. I might go J.K. Dobbins or Samaje Perine. I like both those guys. So Michael Thomas just went. Yeah, I was going to go probably Michael Thomas, but since he's not available, I'm going J.K. Dobbins. It's kind of a dart throw. And with that, we wrap this thing up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, along with any other questions you guys might have. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. But in the meantime, we will see you guys in future videos.